Welcome in, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Hi, Lemons. Hi, Justin. Hi, Sparkle Tree. Hi, Flora. Hi, Jennifer. Hi, Annette. Hi, Wolf King. How's everybody doing? Hi, Khaleesi. Hi, Sally. Hi, Grim. Tracy, thank you for all the cozy cryptids. Use Your Sense. Welcome in. Thanks for the cozy cryptids. And Jess, thanks for the populars. Welcome in, everybody. Tracy, thanks for the league countdown. Hi, Thomas. Hi, Lady Rose. Hi, April. Thanks, Annette. That's so cute. I love that. Hi, love. How are you? Love X, how are you? Nice to see you again. Hi, Monique. Hi, Karen. Hi, Jess. I already said hi, Thomas. Did you not hear it? Hi, Dee. Hello, Kim. Hi, Maddie. Thank you. That's so cute. Thank you, Jess. Welcome in, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Hi, Holly. Hi, DW. Hi, Tanya. Hi, Shelly. Hi, Jorge. How are you? Hi, Joker. Hi, Ash. Hi, Naomi. Hi, Paranormal Jules. How you doing? Welcome in, everybody. Hey, Crafter Girl. Hey, Glossette. Hi, Live, Love, Love. Hi, Jordan. Hi, Sue. Oh, Cassiad, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the porch. And welcome in, everybody. If you're new here, my name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. And I am here every single night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. I do write and record all these stories myself, and you can listen to them when I'm not live anytime you would like on my YT channel, as well as all of the podcast streaming sites. Just look for Porch Lore and you will find me, and all of the links are in my bio if you are on TT. Hello, Michael. Hi, Jackson. Hi, Mystic. Oh, you have Kim? I love that. Thanks. Hi, Emily. Welcome in, everybody. So feel free to grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock, sit back and relax, and welcome to the porch. And as I always say, there is always room for one more on the porch. So if you guys could invite some one mores, I would really appreciate that. Hi, Kimmy. So if you could do me a big favor and hit that share arrow in the bottom right-hand corner if you are on TT. And there's a yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other that says repost. And that puts my live into your friends' FYPs, and it helps us grow this beautiful porch of ours. Hi, Seabass. Hi, Jade. Also, sharing to your story and sharing with your friends in messages helps immensely. you share with a friend and they share with a friend, and then we have lots of new friends on the porch, and it helps us grow. Helps me grow too. And hi, James. Everybody, wish James a happy birthday. It is James's birthday. Hi, Ken and Jenny from Taylor, Michigan. You aren't too far away from me. And also, if you guys have story requests, feel free at this time to write them in the chat in all capital letters. And I will write them down and then we will vote. Also, tapping on the screen is helpful. You can also tap on YT. There's a little heart on the side. And sit back and relax. Sparkle Tree, James says, Sparkle Tree says happy birthday. And I'll be back. I'm just going to write down your requests. And again, feel free to write your story requests in all capital letters. Thank you. Welcome to the porch. Hi, Michelle. Thank you for your heart me. Were you really, Karen? That's so close to me. Michelle, I have a video about him. Allie, I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant, Allie, because that's the title on YT. And I know it's confusing. But that's just like search engine optimization. The titles aren't things people search for. So I already knew what you meant. Thanks for clarifying though. Oh, Dawn sent corn. Oh, thank you for the baby little wing, Holly. That's so cute. Hi, Vampy. James Sue over on YT says happy birthday. And welcome in, everybody. If you're new here, my name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. And I'm here every single night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. Hi, Jason. Hi, bestest bestie. Hi, Rabbit Hole. I know Sparkle Tree. That's why I think it's so cute. Thank you. Hi, Glinda. Okay, love you, April. Sweet dreams. Thanks for stopping in. Yes, Mini Spy. I definitely am gonna emphasize that. Thanks, Glinda. Thank you, Glinda. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the porch. Yes, Jade, I do remember that, and that was so funny. Welcome in, everybody. Grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock, sit back and relax. Write your request in all capital letters, and I will write it down and set up the first poll. Oh my God, Tanya, you're so cute. You're so cute. You sent a rose. Thank you. You said, I have no idea what I'm sending. You're the sweetest. Thank you, Tanya. I appreciate you. And just so you know, like the ones that are like 1 coin, that's like point something of a cent. So don't worry. You're not like throwing away tons of dough. Hi, Steven. Welcome in. And no, I don't have any wolf stories. Again, the list of stories is available on Discord and on my YT channel. Oh, Lonnie. Do you mean like werewolves or like wolves? Like, because I only do like paranormal supernatural stories. Thank you, Justin. You know what? Don't even worry about it, Kim. Not at all. Okay, Lady Rose, I'll write those down. Thanks. Millsy, thanks for the Go Popular, and Glinda, thanks for the rose. And thank you, Annette, for the little wing. That's so cute. Welcome in, everybody. My name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. And I am here every night from 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. I do write and record all these stories myself, so you can listen to them whenever you would like on my YT channel, as well as all of the podcast streaming sites. Just look for Porch Lore and you will find me. Also, recordings of my live are available on my YT channel as soon as it ends. Good evening, Jennifer Lawrence. Hi, Lisa. And I'll be right back with the first poll for us to vote for the first story. Welcome to the porch. Thank you, Kathmandu. Okay, you guys, the first poll is ready. I'm just going to remind you guys that it is James's birthday today. And Huggin' Molly is his favorite story on the planet Earth, and he loves Molly. It's his girlfriend. Okay, so I'm just going to remind you guys of that when you're voting. It is James's birthday and he loves Huggin' Molly. Just throwing that out there. So with the poll, we have Huggin' Molly, Grandpa's Cabin, The Drowned Bell, Snowbound Creeper, and The Camper Van. And you can vote in the blue box in the top left-hand corner. And you can vote up to 50 times, and you can vote for more than one story at a time. And if the pink banner is blocking it, you can swipe out and come back in, and it should be gone, or just wait a second, and the blue box will come back. Who's it gonna be? Huggin' Molly, Grandpa's Cabin. Oh my God, Frenchie, that's so cute. Huggin' Molly, Grandpa's Cabin, Drowned Bell, Snowbound Creeper, and Camper Van. Thank you, Frenchie. I love that. That's so cute. That's called Travel in the U.S. That's cute. It looks like the Porch Pals love them some James. James, are you seeing this? Happy birthday, James. And oh, I'm so sorry, Kevin, over on YT. The voting is just, I only know how to do it on TikTok. I'm not sure how to do it on YT yet because I just started streaming over there a couple weeks ago. And I'm kind of trying to pace myself on how to like do all three at the same time. So the voting is just on TikTok. So you don't have to worry about it unless you have a major desire to vote for it. Then you could come over here and do it. But if not, just sit back and relax. You don't have to worry about it. I'm just glad you guys are here watching me on YT. It makes me so happy. And I only say YT because I am on TikTok and we're not allowed to say the names of other things. So also, you guys, it looks like the Porch Pals love some James because he's an integral part of the Porch Pals. We love you, James. And happy birthday. Here he is pinned. And the winner is Huggin' Molly. And every single vote, except for 3, went to Huggin' Molly. Thank you, guys. That's so sweet. I don't think we've ever seen that kind of turnout for one story for someone before. So that's really special. And I love this community. You guys are so sweet. Yeah, sorry, Kevin. Thanks for asking, though. And also, yes, Justin just wrote above you, Kevin, that he will cast votes for you guys that are over there if y'all have stories you really want to hear, because he's an angel and he's so nice. Hi, Paul. I'm good. How are you? They really did stand on business, Kim. Those 3 votes, they were like, I love it. All right, you guys. And don't worry, for those of y'all who requested the stories I put on this poll, I will put them back up again. You didn't lose your chance to vote for your story, so don't worry. I just kind of wanted to show James that we love him. All right, you guys, I will be right back. Oh, you're crying, James? We love you. And I know that sometimes you need to hear it, so happy birthday. If you didn't get enough of it over at Kim's, she sang and danced for you. I will be right back with James's girlfriend and his birthday story, The Tale of the Haint of Huggin' Molly. Grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock, get cozy. I'll be right back. Hi, Lorna. Justin, you might be. I think this is the first comment I've seen from you. Try writing it again. And welcome in, Justin. I'm sorry if you're being filtered. Oh, you said happy Tuesday. I saw it. Happy Tuesday, Justin. Hey. Frenchie, thank you for the cherries. And welcome in, everybody. Yeah, I wasn't sure either. You never know with this app. I mean, it literally just does whatever it wants. Thank you, Lorna. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of the Haint of Hug and Molly. I've traveled all over the South, chasing whispers and shadows. Some turn out to be the wind through cypress trees or a startled owl. But every once in a while, I stumble into something that I can't just laugh off once the sun comes up. This story takes place in Abbeville, Alabama, a place you might not notice on the map unless you're already looking for trouble or trying to avoid it. Abbeville isn't big, but it's old. Settled in the early 1800s, it still wears the past like a wool coat in the summer. Heavy and soaked through with memory. People there still speak in slow drawls, and you can get a plate of catfish bigger than your head for under $10. But what really drew me to Abbeville was a local legend that has stuck around for over 100 years. The tale of Hug and Molly. Now, depending on who you ask, Molly's either a grieving mother, a witch who lost her child, or some kind of cryptid that stalks the streets after dark. But everyone agrees on two things. She's tall, like 7 feet tall. And she wraps you in a death grip hug so tight, it knocks the breath out of you. She doesn't kill you, but you'll remember her for the rest of your life. Local kids are warned that if they stay out past sundown, Hug and Molly might grab them up and scream in their ear. I had heard the story years ago, and I always figured it was one of those moral tales meant to scare kids into getting home by supper. But I never forgot it. And last October, while tracing old Civil War routes through southern Alabama, I decided to make a stop in Abbeville and see if the place had anything left of the legend. I pulled into town just before sunset. The streets were quiet, too quiet for a Friday night. Downtown was a cluster of old brick buildings and faded murals that looked like they hadn't been touched since the 1940s. I parked near the library, a gorgeous old building that still had gas lanterns flickering out front. And I walked toward the courthouse square. I got lucky. A local historian named Bobby was closing up the museum and offered me a private look inside. The museum itself was one room, barely big enough to turn around in without knocking over a display. There were Civil War artifacts, some dusty family Bibles, and a glass case dedicated entirely to Hug and Molly. The case held newspaper clippings, a child's bonnet, and a charcoal sketch from 1914 that made the hair on my arms stand up. It showed a towering woman in white, elongated arms and eyes that seemed like saucers. Her mouth was wide, almost smiling, but in a way that made you feel like smiling back would be a mistake. Bobby told me that the sketch was done by a boy named Samuel Gaines, who claimed he saw her one Halloween night, and after that, he never spoke again. He died in a sanitarium up in Montgomery in 1938. Bobby said the story always resurfaces when the weather turns cool and the air smells of smoke. Now, I've heard my fair share of ghost stories, and I've had a few strange experiences that have kept me awake at night. But I hadn't expected to feel anything in Abbeville. But something about that drawing, about the cold stillness inside that museum, made me decide to stay the night and see if I could walk the route that people claimed Molly used to follow. According to locals, she favored Kirkland Street, right near the old carriage trail that once led out of town into the woods. I checked into a little roadside inn and I waited for the clock to strike midnight. It was the kind of night where the fog doesn't roll in, it seeps in. Everything felt damp and muffled. I walked slowly, inadequate flashlight in hand, down Kirkland Street. The houses were spaced wide apart, dark and shuttered. It was the kind of quiet that makes you wonder if anyone else even lives in the whole town. And then I heard it. Not footsteps, something softer, like cloth dragging. I turned off my inadequate flashlight and I stood still. My ears strained as I held my breath. The sound came again, this time closer. Not in front of me, but behind me. I turned and saw nothing. Just as I finally exhaled, there came a strange pressure, like the air itself grew heavy. My chest tightened, and I suddenly felt ice cold. Not the kind that creeps up your arms, the kind that shoots straight through your ribs. I looked up, and there she was. A silhouette, 7 feet tall at least. Standing just beneath a tree. I couldn't make out her face, just the shape of her, tall and thin. Her head tilted just slowly, and she took a step forward. I couldn't move. I couldn't even scream. I should have run. But all I could do was stand there while that figure came closer. Her arms opened wide. Not quickly, but in a slow, almost loving way. And then she was around me. I didn't feel hands. I felt pressure. Like being vacuum sealed into a memory that I didn't want. It was like being hugged by grief itself, dense and hollow, and cold as grave soil. Then just beside my ear, she screamed. Kim said inadequate voice box. It wasn't a word. It wasn't a name. It was just a pure, mournful wail that blasted straight through me. I dropped to my knees. The scream faded into the fog. And when I opened my eyes, she was gone. I staggered back to my car. I I don't remember unlocking it or the drive back to the inn. I don't even remember getting into my room, getting into bed, or falling asleep. I don't really remember anything after she hugged me. I was in some type of fog for the rest of the night. The next morning, I woke with a nosebleed and my ribs ached like I'd been tackled. I went back to the museum and Bobby told me one more story before I left. In 1909, a woman named Molly Langford lost her only child to scarlet fever. Thank you, Ethan. They say she went mad with grief and wandered the streets at night for weeks, begging people to let her hold their babies. When she died, folks said they could still hear her calling for her son. Others think Molly's not human at all. And some say she's tied to the land itself, an earthbound elemental. Whatever she is, I believe she's real. I can still feel her arms around me sometimes when I dream. And if you ever find yourself near Henry County, Alabama, especially in October, be careful walking after dark, because Huggin' Molly might be looking for someone else to hold tight. And that's the tale of the Haint of Huggin' Molly. Thank you, Daniel-san. Thank you, Akero. I think it's just you, Michelle. I kept it at the same pace. I think this song is a little slower than the other song we usually read pace to, so maybe that's why. Because the Banshee song's a little slower. But I keep pace with the music, usually. Aw, you've been off all day. That's okay, Michelle. Sit back and relax. I'm sorry to hear that. Love you. Yeah, the music's a little slower for the Banshee music. And I do pace my cadence to the background music, so it's just a little slower probably than the other stories, just because of that. So it might not be you. It might just be because it's the Banshee music, and I don't read the Banshee stories that often, so... Wendigos, no. Nobody's mentioned that. We just finished reading The Haint of Huggin' Molly. Thank you, Jennifer. Happy birthday, James. Hello, Donald. Hi, Nancy. right, you guys, welcome in. If you're new here, my name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. And I am here every night. Thank you, Chance. That's so cute. Thank you, Rox. I am here every night from 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. Thank you, Maureen. That's so cute. Also, I noticed that someone named Chutmouth or something, Chutworth or something followed me. That wouldn't happen to be the not Chet from the diner, is it? Did somebody make a Chet account? Because I feel like I sniffed out a Chet account while I was reading. Because yes, I am that crazy. And I can read the story and spot a Chet in the chat. And I'm pretty sure I did. I also spotted, look, Ma, no hands. I said, I deserve a chance. And I'm with Roscoe, I'm with Waka. I think I deserve a chance. I'm a bad mother. A handsome mother. Yes, there you go, Skrilla. Girl, the way you moving. Got me in a trance. I said, look, Ma, no hands. Yeah, we got Chance in on it, yep. I'm with Roscoe, I'm with Waka. I think I deserve a chance. I'm a bad mother. A young, handsome mother. Yes, I saw a Chet enter the chat. Chat, paging Chet. I know you're in here. And thank you for the follow. Frenchie, thank you for the star map. Zoe. Well, Skrilla likes to, he like him and CJ both know that if you throw rap lyrics at me, I'll do it. I can't help it. That's so funny, Chance. You said you deserve a me. Chance. James. Because I rapped Waka. Thanks. Rocks, me too. If you successfully do, I'll be so happy for you, and please send me a picture. Because that's my dream too. Same dream. You saw it too, Tina? You saw it too? You saw him, didn't you? His last name's Cutback? Yeah. Chet Cutback. Chet. You saw it? I knew you did. And I was reading and I saw it. I was like, Chet Cutback. I actually did know one guy named Chet once, and he's exactly how you would think a guy named Chet would be. That's all I'm going to say. I'll be right back with the next poll. Grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock, sit back and relax. Yes, like Jade said, if you feel like sending a heart me, that'd be great. Also, yeah, he did. He said, what if I fall asleep? Yeah, I saw it too, Tina. Good eyes, Tina. Chet Stedman, that's funny. That's funny. Also, while I'm setting up the next poll, if you guys could do me a big favor, if you could hit that share arrow in the bottom right hand corner, there is a little yellow circle and it has two little arrows chasing each other, and it says repost, and that puts my live into your friends' FYPs, and it helps us grow this beautiful porch of ours, and it helps me quite a bit. So thank you to everybody reposting and sharing in your stories, sharing with your friends. Spreading the word of mouth really does help grow our community in the best possible way. Also, thank you to those of you on TT writing keywords in the chat throughout the night. I will be pinning the funniest keyword comments I see throughout the night. So thank you, because that does help the algorithm know who to send us out to and what the live is about. Oh, really, Joker? You betcha, Daniel. I miss you. I miss your clever wordplay. All right, you guys. I'll be right back with the next poll. Get cozy. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the porch. Also, don't forget tomorrow is Witchy Wednesday, and I probably will be attempting to do another outdoor Witchy Wednesday. Be right back with the next poll. And yes, Kenneth, if you have a preference, type it in the chat and let Justin know, and he will vote for the next one for you because he's a doll. And my Witchy Wednesdays are 11 a.m. or 12 p.m. depending on how I feel in the morning on Wednesdays. And I do go live on camera. I'm not telling stories. We just hang out. And now that the weather's nice, I'm probably going to start taking you guys outdoors places. So if you feel like just chilling, come in, hey. But I'm not telling stories during the day, so don't worry. I won't make you fall asleep while you're at work. Okay, you guys, the next poll is ready. We have Spear Finger. We have the Snowbound Creeper. We have the Camper Van. We have Grandpa's Cabin. And then we have the Reanimator, which is an Are You Afraid of the Dark reworking. So you can vote in the blue box in the top left-hand corner, and you can vote up to 50 times. And you can vote for more than one story. Just tap that blue box. And we have Spear Finger, the Snowbound Creeper, Camper Van, Grandpa's Cabin, and the Reanimator. Antonio, the voting happens on TikTok, but you can also just write it in the chat and Justin will place votes for people on YT. But the poll's about to end, so you can do it on the next one because there's probably 3 more tonight. Hi, Amy. Rachel, you're so funny. And hi, Rebecca. I love how you keep calling me that. You're so cute. Thank you, Whitney, for the hand hearts. And thank you for the jungle blitzy Jojo. He's so cute. I love jungle blitzy. And the winner is the snowbound creeper. And yes, Catherine has been diligently asking for this story for a while, every night. And I'm happy to see it finally won. Thank you, Chelsea, for the cute little wing. And Siren, thank you for the cozy cryptid. All right, you guys, I'll be right back with the tale of the snowbound creeper. And no, Timberly, I don't keep track of how many times a story is read. I do write them all down every night, like which ones are requested and stuff, but I don't keep track of how many times each story is read. But there is an entire list of all the stories on the G-Cord, and I will be updating it weekly when I add the new story every week. And over time, you'll probably just be able to see the titles that you never hear requested, if that makes sense, because I would say there's about 6 to 8 stories that get requested almost every single night. And I have over 100 stories, so there's a lot that don't get read very often, to be honest. P, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the porch. Yeah, you did, Whitney. There was a live premiere, and I read it. What were you doing? You were here. Thank you, Michelle. And Michelle, I didn't see your answer about the John Titor one. Did you see that video, or were you asking me like for more input, or have you not seen that one yet? Because I think it's interesting, and I mean, honestly, I would believe it because he disappeared and he put his life in jeopardy. That was a federal crime. Yeah, thanks, Timberly. You're so sweet. Also, if you aren't on Discord, it's just easier on Discord because their actual titles are there. But YT has a bedtime stories playlist, but the titles of the videos are just like search engine optimization titles. They're not the actual titles of the stories, but I will still know what you're asking for usually if you hint around at it. But yeah, thanks, Justin. And Justin just shared the link to the Discord. By the way, I like your name, Timberly. I've never heard that name before, and I think it's really cute. I love that. Justin, or no, not Justin, Matt, no, that's just Appalachian, sweetie, because that's where all the pine trees come from. We have Christmas trees there all year. So, I mean, when your entire yard is pine trees, fuck yeah, you decorate them. And this takes place in Appalachia. And believe it or not, I do actually make sure that there's lots of details in my backgrounds that are subtle but accurate, if that makes sense. Yeah, Jasmine, I responded to you in the chat. Yes, absolutely. You can buy it whenever you want. Oh, speaking of prints, I also added several more prints that people have been requesting. I don't think Trisha's in here tonight, but there were several other prints. Somebody was looking for the carnival. A couple other people were looking for Empusa and the Ozark's Howler and Spearfinger. So I have caught up and I've added a bunch of them to the print list. However, I do not add every story, only the ones that you guys request. So just a reminder, if you see a background that you love while I'm telling a story, just write in all capital letters, print request please, and I will write it down. And that's what, I mean, literally, I think at least 12 of you have done that and gotten prints that you wanted so far. So any backgrounds you like, I will turn them into prints, or I will do what I did for James. And the Hug and Molly print is such an old story, and the graphic was a screenshot of a video because I just started doing the lives and I didn't have backgrounds or anything. So I just completely remade Hug and Molly for a print. That's why she looks new now, because I had to redo her for a high definition print, and I figured why not just use that from now on. So if you guys would like them, let me know which ones you like. Thanks, Michelle. Yeah, I think the new Hug and Molly is so much better than a screenshot from the video. Oh, it is? You like the Howler? Yeah, I like that one too. And Glinda, yeah, that's perfect for you since you live there. Hi, Thay. All right, guys, quick swig and I'll be right back with Snowbound Creeper. Welcome to the porch. Don't worry, Jasmine. It's already up. It's already available. I just mean like you put that if it's not already available on the framed prints, but the Nola Vampires one's already available because Archangelo bought it. Yeah, Mortimer Virgil Howley is adorable. Also, Whitney, you are so sweet. I'm reading the chat right now and like, you're just so sweet. Thank you so much. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Palace Society. This is the tale of the snowbound creeper. And yes, Archangelo and I are both going to start doing a wall of the stories, and I love it. Picture an old log cabin, the kind you see on postcards or the covers of winter-themed magazines. It's nestled at the end of a winding road deep in the Appalachian Mountains, surrounded by trees so dense they blot out the sun, even on the brightest days. Thank you, Lily. Thank you, Rachel. This place belonged to my friend Courtney, and we were supposed to have the ultimate winter getaway. A detox from city life with a roaring fire, hot cocoa, and no Wi-Fi to distract us. And a time to unplug. Just two friends decompressing after the chaos of the holidays. The drive up had been uneventful at first. The forecast warned of snow, but it wasn't supposed to hit until later that evening. We arrived just as the sun was dipping behind the mountains, casting long shadows that made the trees look like gnarled fingers reaching for the sky. I remember Courtney remarking how still everything felt, like the world was holding its breath. The cabin was beautiful, but not in a polished, Instagram-ready way. It had a lived-in charm. There was a stone fireplace, mismatched furniture, and a faint smell of cedar and mothballs. Claire had warned me that the cabin was old and prone to drafts and creaks, but that was part of its charm. What she didn't mention was how isolated it all was. There wasn't another cabin or house in sight. The nearest neighbor was apparently an older man named Ed who lived about half a mile away. Courtney said he was the caretaker of sorts, though she'd only met him a couple of times. By the time we unpacked and got a fire going, the snow had started to fall. Fat flakes that looked almost magical against the darkening sky. Claire laughed and said that we were in for a cozy night. We cooked dinner, drank wine, and settled into the kind of easy, meandering conversations that you really only have with someone that you've known for years. But then the wind picked up. It wasn't the gentle whistling you might expect, but a low, mournful howl that made the windows rattle. I tried to ignore it, but the sound had a way of making me feel uneasy, like a constant reminder of how far away from everything we were. Around midnight, Court decided to head to bed, leaving me alone in the living room. I was half watching the fire, half scrolling through photos on my phone, when I noticed something odd. As I looked out the window at the snow falling harder, it was plastering the windows in uneven patches, and through a clear spot, I thought I saw movement. Just a flicker, like someone walking past. I told myself it was probably just the wind stirring the trees. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling that it looked too deliberate. The shape honestly looked human. The storm worsened overnight, and by morning, the cabin was completely snowed in. The front door wouldn't budge, and the windows were nearly buried. Court joked that we'd have to start rationing food, but her nervous laugh gave her away. Neither of us were thrilled at the idea of being trapped, but we figured it would pass. Snow plows would clear the main roads eventually, and then we'd dig ourselves out when the storm eased up. Thank you, Tennessee. Except, it didn't ease up. By mid-afternoon, the snow was coming down harder than ever, and the wind was relentless. We tried to distract ourselves with board games and books, but the oppressive quiet made it hard to even focus. And then we noticed the tracks. Late in the afternoon, Courtney spotted them, faint impressions in the snow just beyond the edge of the porch. They looked like footprints, but they didn't make any sense. For one, they were staggered, as if whoever made them was maybe limping or dragging something. And they were too big, easily twice the size of an average person's foot. Court tried to brush it off, saying that maybe Ed had come by to check on us, but even she didn't sound convinced. Why would anyone be out in a storm like this? That night, the strange noises started. At first, it was just a faint scratching sound, like tree branches scraping against the cabin. But as the hours dragged on, it became more distinct. Shuffling, thudding, the occasional creak of the porch steps. Courtney and I both tried to pretend we weren't hearing it, but by midnight, it was impossible to ignore, and we were scared. We barricaded the front door with furniture, more for our own peace of mind than anything else. I remember whispering to Court that maybe it was just an animal, a bear or a stray dog looking for shelter. But deep down I knew that didn't explain the deliberate sound of footsteps circling the cabin. The power went out shortly after, plunging the cabin into complete darkness. The fire had died down to embers and the temperature dropped fast. We huddled under blankets listening to the storm and the increasingly unnerving sounds outside. At one point, I thought I heard a low guttural growl, but Courtney insisted it was just the wind. The turning point came sometime in the early hours of the morning. I was dozing off when a loud metallic banging jolted me awake. It sounded like something or someone was hitting the side of the cabin with a heavy metal object. Courtney grabbed my arm and whispered that we needed to stay quiet. The banging continued, sporadic and erratic for what felt like hours. And then, just as suddenly as it started, it stopped. And the silence that followed was somehow worse. Like whatever was out there was just waiting for us to let our guard down. When the first light of dawn filtered through the snow-covered windows, we finally dared to move. The storm had eased up slightly, and we decided to make a run for Ed's cabin. The snow was waist deep, and every step was a struggle. But the thought of staying in that cabin another night was unbearable. As we trudged through the snow, I couldn't shake the feeling that we were being watched. Every so often, I'd glance over my shoulder, convinced that I had seen something, a shadow, a figure, anything. But there was nothing, just endless white. We reached Ed's cabin just as the sun was starting to rise. The door was ajar, swinging slightly in the wind. Thank you, Lily. And inside, the place was empty. There was no sign of Ed. Just a half-eaten meal on the table and a wood stove that had gone cold. Courtney found a note on the counter scrawled in shaky handwriting. Stay inside. It comes at night. We didn't want to find out what it was. We grabbed what supplies we could and we headed back to Court's cabin, praying the roads would be clear soon. When we got back, we found the barricade we had made at the front door completely destroyed. The furniture was overturned and deep gouges were marred in the wooden floorboards. Whatever had been out there hadn't just been watching, it had tried to get in. The storm finally broke that afternoon, and we managed to flag down a plow truck on the main road. We didn't even tell the driver what happened. Who would even believe us? But as we drove away, I couldn't help but look back at the cabin. And for a split second, I thought I saw something standing in the trees. Tall, shadowy, and possibly still. But when I blinked, it was gone. To this day, I can't explain what happened, and Courtney refuses to talk about it. All I know is that whatever was out there wasn't human. And it wasn't just the storm that left us snowbound and scared out of our minds. And that's the tale of the snowbound creeper. Thank you, Lorna. Welcome in, everybody. My name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. And I am here every single night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. Thank you, Southern Steph. I appreciate it so much. Welcome in. Holly, I didn't, but I've seen them before. All right, you guys. I will be right back with the next poll for us to vote for the next story. And thank you for the follow. Southern Steph, welcome to the porch. Annabeth, I don't have the prints without frames. Are you thinking of like a canvas, or because I can set one up? Thank you, Archangelo. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you, Jess. Thank you, Margaret. Those are so cute. Like a poster? Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Kim. Like, do you mean a poster? Because they do have posters. I could do a poster. All right, I'll be right back with the next poll. Grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock. Sit back and relax. What's Devony? I'm extra Devony? What is Devony? And if you guys could do me a big favor while I'm setting up the next poll, if you could hit that share arrow in the bottom right hand corner, and there is a yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other. Everybody just says you. Well, thank you. I don't know what that means. That repost button puts my live into your friends' FYPs, and it really helps us grow this beautiful porch of ours. Thanks, Jackson. Signature son. All right, guys, I'll be right back with the next poll. Welcome to the porch. Happy Tuesday. Okay, you guys, the next poll is ready. We have the chupacabra, the Ozarks howler, the Bell Witch, aka Empusa, the man in the red coat, and the deer woman. You can vote in the blue box in the top left-hand corner, and you can vote up to 50 times on TT. Let Justin know on YT which story you would like to hear. And again, we have the chupacabra, the Ozarks howler, the Bell Witch, the man in the red coat, and the deer woman. Who's it gonna be? The trash panda? Oh. By the way, I did this just so Jade would say, "How dare you put Howley against Choopy?" Oh my god, Ramen, that is so cute. What do you mean there's a trash panda gift? He's so cute. That was so cute. That was so cute. I do know you so well, Jade. That's why I did it. I was like, she's gonna be like, oh no. But I will say this. He's new. I know I saw. Anybody in here was anybody in here on the Witchy Wednesdays when we learned about raccooning people? Anybody remember that? Because that still has me cackling. Ah, Cindy. Well, you're in luck. Chupa just won. Choopy choopy. No, it wasn't frogging. It was raccooning. You guys weren't there. Okay. A rock lobster. What's that? Okay, so I wish he was in here to explain it, but raccooning somebody came into, oh yeah, that Viola, that was funny. You did, Andrew? What'd they say? Yeah, the crawdads. Okay, so basically he came, Jade, were you there? Who was with the raccooning? Nobody in here? He came in, it was one of my friends, and he came in and he was talking about, I don't even know how it came up, but I said something and I was like, no. And I was like, one night stands aren't really my thing. And then he was like, okay, Robin, thank you. Somebody was there for the raccooning. Tell me it's not the funniest thing ever. And we were like, he's like, you ever raccoon somebody? And we were like, what is that? And he said, when I have a one night stand with someone, and when I go to leave, I kick over their trash cans. Like, what? Me too, Robin. I could not stop laughing. I was like, you what? So he's like, yeah, if it's like a one night thing, I'll go out and knock over their trash cans. Call it raccooning. Like, what? It's ridiculous. I know. Just why? Me too. Hamster. That's literally, that's why I had to bring it up, because when he said the raccoon trash panda, I'll never ever not think of that the rest. And I've literally been a raccoony outdoor mama. I take care of raccoons and stuff forever. And now I will never not think of raccoons and think of that. Can you imagine someone just be like, bam, kicking over the trash can? Like, that's just ridiculous and so funny. I know. So whether he really did that or not, it's still a hilarious joke. So I had to share it with you guys. Yeah, Robin, it was forever ago, but I'll never forget it. It was a long time ago on a Witchy Wednesday, and it was so funny. How'd you find your ex-husband in a trash can, Jasmine? What if it was good? Well, then it wouldn't probably be a one-night stand, would it? I don't know. Or what do you mean? What if the trash was good? Which one? Yes, Jackson, I think that still counts. Because if raccoons had cars, they'd totally do that. Jade said, I love my trash. A story with an evil group of puppets. No, but that sounds terrifying. Holy shit, no. But that sounds, I'm gonna add that to the list. Yeah. Oh my God. Jackson said, great, I've done that. Well, then you've raccooned someone, sir. I had a one-night stand. It lasted 15 plus years. James. James, that's not a one-night stand, boo-boo. You had a dream about it when you were younger? Do you think it was inspired by the creepy puppet from Goosebumps? Church trauma. Oh, that'll do it. Wait, Kim, that'll do it. Kim, are you in here? That'll do it. That'll do it. All right, you guys, the Chupacabra won. I'll be right back with that cutie. Jordan. What? I don't even think I've ever seen you comment, Jordan, and this is an epic first comment. Welcome to the porch. I knew you guys would love the trash can thing. It's because it's so ridiculous. So I hope next time you guys think of that when you see a raccoon. I hope you're like, you know what? Or next time you see a trash can. Hi, Jordan. When do I kick the trash cans over is a diabolical question. It's so funny. And Nancy's over here on T-Witch putting little raccoons in the chat. Oh, hi, Brian. No me sleepsies. Brian, you just missed something that I think you would find very comical. Thank you, Khaleesi. My friend told me he does this thing called raccooning, where when he has a one-night stand, when he leaves, he like kicks over their trash cans. And I just feel like, Brian, I feel like you would find that diabolically funny. Hi, Toxic. Thanks for the heart me. And welcome in, Brian. How you doing, Bad Breath Brian? I know, but why? We don't know why. But it's still ridiculous. All right, guys, be right back with the Chupacabra. Good night, Lorna. Sweet dreams. Holly, thanks for Laugh House. Thank you, Jade. I forgot. Damie Pie, yes, I listened. I told you guys, I take the requests and then I write the stories. So we didn't have one, but now we do. And I hope you like it. And sorry if I don't pronounce everything perfectly correctly. I try my best. No, Holly, he's kicking over the trash cans outdoors like a raccoon. That's a good question, Average C. Is it biopic or biopic? I don't know. Because you would think biopic would be separated. Fun fact. What's a fun fact? Oh, if you clear the display. Yes, you can also see the full picture on my YT channel because there's no chat and it's horizontal and the sunbeams move. Just saying. Not on the live, on the YT videos. Just saying. Hi, CLD. Oh man, you thought one was coming? Oh, fun fact. It probably is coming. Don't worry. Oh yeah, Damie, I know. I was just saying that I was just trying to plug my YT channel. I was saying, you know where else you could see it. That's all I was doing. You need me to info dump? I do that quite a bit. Can you see the baby now, Jade? Yes, Holly, there's mist in this one too. There's mist and the sunbeams. Hi, Angela. This is the new story. You're right on time, boo-boo. Jade, did you see what Damie Pie just said? Them's fighting words. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of the Chupacabra. Most people think they know what a chupacabra is. If you ask someone in the United States, they'll usually describe a hairless, dog-like creature with gray skin and glowing eyes. Sometimes they'll show you photographs of mangy coyotes that newspapers labeled as chupacabras 20 years ago. But that isn't the creature that terrified Puerto Rico. And that isn't the creature that launched one of the most explosive cryptid panics in modern history. And that wasn't the creature I went looking for. I became fascinated with the chupacabra because of how the story just suddenly appeared. Legends usually evolve slowly. Bigfoot stories can be traced back through generations of indigenous traditions. Lake monsters often have centuries of reported sightings. The chupacabra seemed different. It exploded into public awareness almost overnight. In 1995, livestock across Puerto Rico began turning up dead under bizarre circumstances. Goats, chickens, rabbits, and other animals were found completely drained of blood. Witnesses described puncture wounds in the neck and chest, and that there was a surprisingly little amount of blood at the scene. And then came the sightings. The original witnesses weren't describing a canine. They described something far stranger. A creature standing roughly 4 to 5 feet tall. Dark gray skin, large red eyes, spines running down its back, and long arms ending in clawed fingers. A body that moved in short bursts, sometimes upright and sometimes hunched. People across Puerto Rico reported seeing the same thing. The epicenter of the panic became the city of Canavanas. Hundreds of reports poured in. The mayor at the time became so convinced something was stalking the countryside that organized searches were conducted. Whether those reports represented hysteria, misidentification, or something genuine remains heavily debated. But one thing is undeniable. The people reporting these encounters were terrified. And the folklore itself became tangled with other traditions. Puerto Rico's cultural history is a blend of indigenous Taíno heritage, Spanish influence, and African traditions carried by enslaved people. Long before the chupacabra name existed, stories already circulated about predatory night creatures lurking at the edges of settlements. Shape-shifting entities, forest spirits, blood-drinking monsters, guardians of places humans weren't meant to enter. The chupacabra may have been new, but the fear it awakened was ancient. And that was exactly why I booked a flight. I wanted to understand how a legend could emerge so quickly and yet still feel so old. So I traveled to Puerto Rico, specifically Canavanas. I arrived during the wet season. The countryside was astonishingly beautiful. Rolling green hills, dense tropical forests, banana groves, mist-covered ridges. Everything felt alive. The humidity wrapped around me the moment I stepped outside the airport, and by the time I reached Canavanas, my clothes were already felt damp. I spent the first several days doing what I always do when researching folklore. I talked to people. Farmers, local historians, park workers, long-time residents. Not everyone believed in the chupacabra, but even the skeptics treated the legend with a strange degree of respect. People laughed about it and then lowered their voices. People dismissed it and then admitted they avoided certain areas after dark. People claimed it was nonsense and then told me about livestock deaths they couldn't explain. The reports shared remarkable similarities. And one elderly farmer described a region locals rarely entered after dark. Not because of the chupacabra specifically, but because strange things had happened there long before the chupacabra became famous. And that caught my attention. In folklore, ancient legends often survive by attaching themselves to newer stories. And over time, people's interpretations of their experiences take different forms, and languages change. So I wondered if the chupacabra was merely the latest name for something much older. A week into my trip, I decided to explore one of those remote regions for myself. The area sat several miles outside of town. A patchwork of overgrown fields, limestone outcroppings, and dense tropical forest. The terrain was rough, steep, wild. Exactly the sort of place where people could convince themselves they saw monsters. I parked near an abandoned farm and started hiking. The property had clearly been deserted for years. Vines consumed fences. Trees erupted through old foundations. Rusting machinery disappeared beneath vegetation. Everything felt suspended between civilization and wilderness. I spent most of the afternoon documenting the area, photographing old structures, taking notes, comparing locations against historical reports. Nothing unusual happened, at least not initially. The first thing I noticed was the silence. The rainforest had been loud all day. Birds, insects, tree frogs, and then suddenly, nothing. I stopped walking, and my instincts began whispering. Not panic, just awareness. The same sensation hikers often describe before realizing they've wandered into a predator's territory. I looked around carefully. Nothing. Just jungle. Dense green walls stretching in every direction. So I continued forward, and the silence followed. And then I found the goats. 3 of them, dead, lying near the remains of a collapsed fence. At first glance, they appeared untouched. No obvious signs of a predator. No missing flesh. No scattered remains. But something about it seemed wrong. The bodies looked too clean. I approached cautiously. And there were wounds. That was so cute, Michelle. Small punctures near the chest. Not dramatic, subtle. Almost surgical. I took photographs. The ground was hard and rocky in the area, so I didn't see any tracks from an animal. Whatever had killed them hadn't left any obvious evidence. I reminded myself that there were rational explanations like disease or parasites. And then I heard movement. A brief rustling behind me. I turned immediately, and there was nothing. Everything stood motionless, I waited. Every instinct in my body recognized it. Something was observing me. I slowly scanned the tree line, and then I saw it. At first glance, I thought it was a person crouching among the vegetation, which was honestly more horrifying. And then it moved. The creature unfolded from behind a cluster of palms. Its movement reminded me of both primate and a large predator. It stood approximately 4 feet tall. Maybe slightly taller. Its skin appeared dark gray. Not fur, skin, tight against a lean frame. Its head was large, and its eyes reflected ambient light. And along its spine, rows of raised structures protruded from its back. Not exaggerated spikes like in horror movies, more like ridges. Organic, natural. The creature wasn't charging. It wasn't puffing up to appear threatening. It wasn't stalking me. It was just watching me, studying me. And the intelligence in its gaze was what startled me the most. Predators usually look through you like you're just food, but the chupacabra looked at me like there was curiosity there. Assessment, calculation, intelligence. I froze. Every survival instinct told me not to run, and the creature tilted its head slightly. And then another movement to the side caught my eye. A second figure, smaller, partially concealed. Oh my God, there were 2 of them. The smaller one remained hidden among vegetation, and once it saw that I had noticed the smaller one, the larger one stepped forward. Only a few feet, but enough for me to see details. The limbs were long, the fingers ended in dark claws, and her chest expanded slowly with controlled breaths, like it was trying to catch its breath. Its skin bore scars, old scars, crossing its body in pale lines. For several seconds, neither of us moved. And then something happened I still struggle to explain. The larger creature looked toward the dead goats, then back at me, and then over toward the forest where the smaller one was hiding. A sequence, deliberate. An attempt to communicate with me. As though it understood exactly what I was documenting, and it wanted me to know why. I crouched down and I kneeled on one knee, as an attempt to show that I meant no harm, that I wasn't a threat. And then I watched the creature let out a long, deep breath, a sigh of relief that made my heart break a little. The moment stretched out for what felt like an hour, and we both just stared at each other in awe. And then the smaller creature made a brief clicking sound, and the larger one reacted instantly and leapt back into the trees. And just like that, they both vanished. Their movement was so fast and efficient that the jungle swallowed them almost immediately, and within seconds, they were gone. I stood there for several minutes, unable to move, trying to process what had just happened to me. Eventually, I started to hike back to my vehicle, and the walk felt much longer than the hike in. Every shadow seemed alive. Every rustle demanded attention. Yet nothing else appeared. By the time I reached the road, daylight was fading. I drove back to town, my head spinning with more questions than answers. Over the following days, I kept thinking about, what did I encounter? I honestly don't know. Maybe an unknown animal. Maybe something folklore eventually wrapped itself around. Or maybe the legend exists because people occasionally stumble across something that doesn't fit neatly into our categories. But what I do know is this. The forests around Canavanas are older than the Chupacabra legend. And the fear attached to those places is older too. And long before newspapers printed the word Chupacabra, people were reporting strange encounters in those hills. Something inspired those stories, and something continues to inspire them to this day. So if you decide to explore those forests yourself, remember that not everything unknown is a threat. And not every mystery wants to be solved. Some places simply want to be respected and left alone to exist without fear. I went looking for a legend, and what I found was a reminder that there are still corners of the world where creatures continue to evade their biggest threat, which is human entitlement and destruction. I don't know whether the Chupacabra is supernatural or merely an animal that science hasn't cataloged yet, but I can say this. I encountered something in that jungle that was just as scared of me as I was of it. And then I realized the terrifying creatures the cryptids warn their young about are humans. And that's the tale of the Chupacabra. The new story that premiered yesterday. Hi, Rochelle. Welcome in, everybody. My name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. That's so weird, Mary. I don't know why. Oh my God, Michelle, that is so cute. Michelle, was that an ice cream truck? Thank you. That was so cute. Thanks, Jesse. Oh my gosh, Lily, that starfish is so cute. Look at him surfing. Thanks, Angela. Yeah, CJ, it really does. And yeah, she was just doing mama things. She was like, oh, whoa, sorry, you stumbled upon me while I was teaching my kid how to hunt. Sorry about those goats, but like, please don't hurt me or my baby. Bye. Yeah, 100%. That's why she let out a sigh of relief when I kneeled down, because she was like, all right, this girl's not going to kill me. Chirpy kisses. Thanks, girl. Oh, that was so cute. Thank you. All right, you guys, welcome to the porch. If you guys could do me a big favor while I set up the next poll for us to vote, if you could hit that share arrow in the bottom right-hand corner. There's a little yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other that says repost. And that puts my live into your friends' FYPs. You can also undo it and redo it every once in a while. It helps the algorithm push us out again, and it helps us grow our beautiful porch. And I will be right back with the next poll for us to vote. Welcome to the porch. Thank you, Sherry. Okay, guys, the next poll is ready. We have The Door in the Water, which is the Selkies of Ireland story. Oh, right, Dammy Pie. The baby Chupa's not so creepy now, right? It's cute. They're just like, please don't hurt us. Okay, we have The Door in the Water, which is the Selkie story from Ireland with Curtis the seal, as Jade pointed out. My pet seal, Curtis. Also, we have Puckwudgies. We have the Lake Worth Monster. We have the Crawl Space. And we have the Melon Heads of Ohio. You can vote in the blue box in the top left-hand corner. And you can vote up to 50 times, and you can vote for more than one story. Who's it gonna be? The Door in the Water, the Selkies, the Puckwudgies, the Lakeworth Monster, the Crawlspace, or the Melonheads? Hi, Ange. We missed you. Hey, Pookie Bear. All right, and the winner is the Crawlspace. Do we have any X-File fans out there? And thank you, Jade. Yes, I do have a gift gallery if anybody's interested. It does help me quite a bit. Also, if we have any X-Files fans out there, there is a character, yep. There's a character that inspired this story in X-Files. And if you're an X-Files fan, let me know if you can guess who that is. Or Justin can just tell you 17 times in the chat. Either way. Justin and Matt. Just kidding. Justin and Matt. Anyway, I'll be right back. Yeah, sorry, Justin. I thought you said it twice. Matt and you both said it. Okay, Matt has now said it twice. He didn't get the hint. Matt said, sorry. Sorry, you guys, I had a puzzle piece. Thanks, Michelle. Thank you, Drew. Welcome in. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of the crawl space. And CJ's correct, I don't sleep. And yes, I did say I'm sleeping tonight. When I was 21, I rented a house in rural Tennessee. It was the kind of place you picture in a faded photograph. Wide front porch, paint peeling in soft curls, and a yard full of tall grass and wild mint. It sat on a plot of land that used to be part of a larger farm, but the property had been split and sold into patches. The house was old, and I mean really old. Wooden floorboards, one bathroom, and a stove that hissed like it had secrets. I found it listed on a message board for college students doing internships, and I needed a cheap place to stay while working for a local historical society cataloging Civil War records. I should have known something was off when the landlord gave me the key in a Walgreens parking lot and told me he didn't go out there much anymore. He looked tired, like he hadn't slept in days. And when I asked if the area was safe, he said the neighbors mostly kept to themselves. I never saw any neighbors. The house was secluded, nestled between overgrown hedgerows and thick woods, and the air was heavy with humidity, and the chirp of cicadas never stopped. You guys are ridiculous. It felt like the kind of place where time hiccuped. There were no streetlights, no mailboxes, just a gravel driveway and silence so thick it buzzed in my ears. The first few days were uneventful. Other than the sheer isolation, I was spending most of my time scanning old documents in the back office of the town's tiny museum and driving back at dusk. And that's when the place started feeling off. Not haunted, not in the way you'd think, just off. And it started with the crawl space. Thank you, Skrilla. There was a square vent cut into the floor of the hallway near the kitchen. One of those old school access points to the house's foundation. The first time I noticed it, I assumed it was just an old vent. But when I leaned down to look, I saw a rusted latch on the wooden panel. It was a crawlspace hatch. I tried to open it just out of curiosity, but the thing wouldn't budge. I figured it had been sealed shut by time and moisture. But that night, as I lay in bed, I heard something move beneath the floorboards. It wasn't the usual creaks or groans of an old house settling. This was deliberate, slow, like a dragging motion. A rhythmic scrape, and then a pause, and then another scrape. I convinced myself it was raccoons or maybe a possum. But when I went outside the next morning and looked around the foundation, I didn't see any gaps or entry points. Everything was sealed tight. The next night, the scraping came back, closer this time. The third night, I heard it while I was awake. Sitting on the couch, sipping tea, trying to read. The scraping started from the far end of the house, near the back bedroom. It moved steadily forward, right beneath the floorboards. I held my breath, and my eyes were fixed on the crawl space. It was dead silent for a few seconds, and then I heard it. Just once, the creak of the latch. I slept in my car that night. The next morning, I brought a hammer inside and I tried prying open the hatch again. This time it lifted. Not easily, but enough that I could slide it back and reveal the square black hole beneath the floor. A wooden ladder led down into the dark, but the rungs were rotted and I couldn't see more than a few feet down. I lowered my phone with the inadequate flashlight on, and that's when I saw it. There was a mattress down there. A twin-sized old stained thing shoved against the dirt wall. Nearby there was a rusted folding chair, an empty gallon jug, and what looked like a crumpled flannel shirt. It was a room. Someone had been living under the house. I slammed the hatch shut and I nailed it down. I should have called the police, but the truth is, I didn't know what to tell them. There were no signs of forced entry, no threats. Nothing technically criminal. Just a sense of growing dread that clung to everything. I started noticing little things after that. My dish towel would be damp when I hadn't used it. My shampoo bottle would be in a slightly different spot. Once, I found my toothbrush wet, and I hadn't even brushed my teeth yet that day. I started locking my bedroom door at night, even though I knew that wouldn't stop someone determined enough. I even pushed a dresser in front of it too, just in case. But the scraping didn't stop, it just got bolder. One night I woke up to the sound of something breathing on the other side of the wall. Slow, steady, shallow breaths. Like someone trying not to be heard. I pressed my ear to the drywall, barely breathing myself, and I could hear it. Faint but unmistakable. Someone was inside the wall. I drove back to town the next morning and I asked my supervisor at the Historical Society if anyone had records on the old farm property. She looked surprised and said that it had belonged to the Tullis family for generations, but was sold off in pieces in the 1990s. I asked if anyone had ever lived in the house recently, and she said no. It had sat vacant for the last 15 years before I moved in. She even joked that I was brave for staying out there alone. I stopped sleeping altogether after that. I started keeping a hammer next to my bed. And I stopped using the shower and just bathed at the gym in town. I even bought one of those cheap door alarms from the hardware store and I rigged it to the crawl space latch, just in case. It went off 2 nights later. The screech of that alarm jolted me out of a half-sleep around 3 a.m., and I barely had time to grab the hammer before I heard the crawl space door slam shut. When I got there, the latch was broken off entirely. And there was a smell, musky, earthy, something like sweat and rotted leaves. I didn't go back to sleep. I sat in the middle of the living room with the hammer clutched in both hands. The next morning, I packed my bags and I left. I didn't care about the rest of the lease. I didn't care about the deposit, I just wanted out. But here's the part that still makes my skin crawl. A week after I moved out, I got a call from the local sheriff's office. They had been doing a welfare check on the house after reports of a break-in. And inside the crawl space, they found a trap door dug into the dirt. And beneath it, they found a tunnel, hand dug, just wide enough for someone to crawl through, and it led directly beneath the master bedroom. Inside the tunnel, they found food wrappers, empty pill bottles, and a collection of women's personal items. My personal items. lipstick, socks, even a single earring that I thought I had lost. The tunnel had been active. Whoever it was who had been living under my house, they had left, but not before leaving a message scratched into the underside of the crawlspace door. Just one word. Stay. I tried to forget about it. I really did. But here's the twist. The part that finally made me write it all down. Two weeks ago, I moved into a new apartment in a different state. Top floor, secure, big building, new locks. Everything felt fine. Until I came home from work one day, and I noticed the vent above the bathroom door was slightly ajar. I grabbed a stool and I looked inside, and there was something shiny wedged in the corner. So I pulled it out. It was a single red earring. The matching one. The one that I'd never lost. And now I hear the scraping. Again. Only this time, it's coming from above. And that's the tale of the crawl space. And no, Linda, I hadn't heard about that, but it doesn't surprise me. That happens a lot. It's very creepy. Welcome in, everybody. My name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. And I am here every single night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. I do write and record all these stories myself, so if you would like to listen to them when I'm not live, you can check them out on my YT channel, as well as all of the podcast streaming sites. Just look for Porch Lore and you will find me. Also, all the links are in my bio if you are on TT. And if you guys could do me a big favor and hit that share arrow in the bottom right hand corner, and there is a yellow circle with two arrows chasing each other that says repost. And that puts my live into your friends' FYPs and helps us grow this beautiful porch of ours. And you guys know what time it is. It's grilled cheese time. So grab a hammock, grab a beanbag chair, sit back and relax, check out the beautiful shooting stars, and get ready for the night shift at Sycamore Diner. Thank you, Jessie. That's so cute. Thank you so much. Thank you, April, for the cozy cryptids, and your spooky bestie. Thank you for the populars. Yes, Winnie, we do. Aw, thank you, Spooky Bestie, for the smoochy heart. Thank you. Mwah. Linda, thank you for the clapping. I appreciate you. Good night, Lily. Sweet dreams. I'll see you tomorrow. Are you okay, Robin? What happened? Oh, I see it, James. You're welcome. Happy birthday, James. We love you. Skrilla. No, don't leave first. Thank you, Marisha. Thank you, Mace. Yes, Fiona, this diner story is we close with this story every night. So this is the last story. I'm not going over tonight because I do a live in the morning on Wednesdays, and it has started to take its toll on me because for some reason on Tuesday nights, it's when everybody wants me to go longer, and I've been going till like 2 in the morning, and then it's just not been a fun time. So I need to take better care of myself. And after I'm done with the live, I'm actually going to go take a shower, and then I'm going to go to sleep, and then I'm going to get up, and then I'm going to drive 30 minutes to the park where I plan to do the outdoor live. So I need some extra time. Quick swig, and I'll be right back with Sycamore Diner. Alda Leor, you're cute. You're so sweet. Last Wednesday, I was live for 9 hours. That's crazy. I was so tired. CJ. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society, this is the tale of the night shift at Sycamore Diner. Justin, you're so Canadian for saying pitch. I love it. I'm not usually the kind of person who pulls over on back roads at night. Not unless I absolutely have to. But that night, something about the storm, the long drive, and that growling pit in my stomach convinced me otherwise. I was hungry. It was late October, and I was headed back to campus after a weekend visit with my friends in North Carolina. I had a midterm on Monday, and my plan had been to drive straight through. 5 hours, no stops. But then came the rain. One of those cold, slanted, whispery rains that creeps into your bones and makes the windshield wipers sound like a heartbeat. I had taken the wrong exit trying to bypass traffic, and I ended up on a 2-lane back road, surrounded by nothing but pine trees and power lines. And that's when I saw the neon sign. SYCAMRE Diner. The O in Sycamore was flickering like it hadn't worked right in years, but the rest was lit up in a cherry red neon. A tiny beacon in the middle of nowhere. I figured I'd grab a quick bite, maybe some coffee, check my map, and get back on the highway. But I should have just kept driving. I should have known something was off the second I stepped inside. The bell over the door jingled, but not like a normal bell. It made this sharp metallic ping that echoed longer than it should have. The air inside was warm, almost too warm, and it smelled like grilled onions and pancake syrup. The place looked like it had been yanked straight from 1957. Checkerboard floor, red vinyl booths, a long counter with spinning stools, even a jukebox in the corner that looked like it hadn't worked in decades. And the people? They all stopped and looked at me the second I walked in. Not in a rude way, just quiet. Like they weren't expecting me. Like I had walked into the middle of a sentence that no one wanted to finish. The waitress, tall, with a beehive hairdo and a light blue uniform, smiled and waved me over. "You get caught in the rain, sweetheart," she said, handing me a laminated menu. I nodded, still trying to shake off that weird feeling. Yeah, the highway's a mess. She chuckled and patted my shoulder. "Well, you're safe here. Sycamore's always open for travelers. I sat down at a corner booth and the vinyl creaked. And I remember the jukebox shifted songs by itself and started playing some slow doo-wop ballad that I didn't recognize. I looked around and everyone looked normal, sort of. There was a trucker with a thick gray beard drinking coffee at the counter. A young couple whispering to each other in a booth by the jukebox. And an older woman stirring tea like she was lost in thought. But they all had the same look in their eyes, like they were there but also somewhere else. Like they were watching me out of the corner of their eyes even when they were looking down. The waitress came back with coffee, strong, hot, and surprisingly good. And I ordered a grilled cheese with fries. Simple, safe. She wrote it down with one of those clicky pens and said, "Don't worry, it's on the house tonight." And that was my second red flag. No diner just gives food away. While I waited, I took out my phone to check the map. No signal, and I mean nothing. No bars, no Wi-Fi, not even GPS. Just a blank screen with a spinning wheel. I glanced out the foggy window, and the storm was still going. But now I could see power lines swaying like jump ropes in the dark. But the diner stayed perfectly lit. Not even a flicker. The food came fast. Too fast, like under 5 minutes. But it looked amazing. Golden bread, gooey cheese, crispy fries with a little metal cup of ketchup on the side. I took a bite. Delicious. I mean, I've eaten at a lot of diners, greasy spoons, college joints, and roadside shacks, but this was hands down the best grilled cheese I've ever had. The fries were perfect, and the coffee never ran out. I was halfway through the sandwich when the trucker got up to leave. He walked right past my table, nodded once, and whispered, "Don't stay past midnight." That's all he said. What? But he was already out the door. The waitress gave me a tight smile and walked over collecting his empty mug. Old Earl. He's always saying weird stuff, just ignore him. But I couldn't. Something about his voice stuck with me. Something about the way he looked at me. Not like I was a customer, but like I was in danger. I checked the clock over the register. 11:42. I figured I had just enough time to finish my fries, grab the check, and head out. I still had at least 3 hours left on the road. But when I stood up, the lights flickered, just once, and then again. And then everything in the diner stopped moving. The couple by the jukebox froze mid-sentence. The woman with the tea stopped stirring, her spoon hanging in midair. The waitress, her hand reached out for a mug, just stopped, like something hit pause on the entire scene. I took a step back and the jukebox buzzed, glitched, and restarted a new track. I could still move, but no one else could. And then I heard it. Not music, not a storm, a voice. Not coming from anyone I could see, just a whisper that seemed to echo from the walls themselves. I backed toward the door, my heart hammering in my chest, and I turned the knob. Locked. Of course it was locked. I tried the windows, but they were sealed shut. I started banging on the glass and shouting, but no one was outside. Just wind and rain and that flickering red sign. SYCAMRE Diner. I turned back toward the dining room, and everyone was gone. The booths were empty. No plates, no crumbs, no mugs. No sign that anyone had ever even been there. Except for my plate. Still warm and still half-eaten. And then I saw the waitress. She was standing by the kitchen doors, her silhouette backlit by flickering fluorescent light. Her face was wrong. The same smile, but her eyes were empty, black and endless, like someone had painted over them. "You shouldn't be here, honey," she said in that same cheerful voice. "Not yet." I stumbled back, knocking over a chair as she took one slow step toward me. The others, they were waiting, but you just wandered in. She raised a hand and the walls began to shimmer. Literally shimmer, like heat waves on asphalt. The checkered floor rippled and the red booths started to fade, becoming outlines and then shadows and then nothing. And then I saw it. Underneath the illusion. It was charred wood, cracked tile, broken beams, and black soot. Like the diner had burned down long ago. I ran. I don't even remember how I got out. One second, I was inside, and the next, I was on the side of the road, soaked to the bone and gasping for air. My car was still there, parked on gravel that didn't even look like a lot anymore, just weeds and puddles. No neon sign, no glowing windows, just nothing. I drove back to campus that night in silence. No music, no Porch Lore podcast. I kept glancing in the rear view mirror, half expecting to see that red neon flicker back to life. I didn't tell anyone. Not for weeks. Not until I finally looked up Sycamore Diner on a local history site. And I found it. Thank you, Deborah. It burned to the ground in 1972. A gas leak. The whole place went up at midnight, and everyone inside was killed. 5 patrons, a waitress, and a cook. The photo in the article? The same checkerboard floor, same red booths, same neon sign. SYCAMORE. And in the corner of the photo, that same waitress, smiling. I never took that back road again. I don't even drive at night anymore if I can help it. And every time I see a neon diner sign, something in me flinches just a little. Because I know I was there. And I know I wasn't supposed to be. But the part that keeps me up sometimes, the part that really makes my stomach turn, that was the best damn grilled cheese I've ever had. And I didn't even pay for it. And that's the tale of the night shift at Sycamore Diner. And thank you guys. Let me put the porch back up to say goodnight. All right. Thank you for spending the evening with me, guys. Yes, I do need my sleep, Skrilla. And thank you guys so much. I love you, and I love spending my evenings with you. I'm so grateful for our amazing community that we're building. And if you'd like to join me tomorrow, and yes, Earl, we discussed this last night. Yes, Earl is one of the dead people. It's a gas fire. He lit the flame. That's how gas works. Sorry, guys. Also, he's a ghost. Everyone in there's a ghost. Why would he still be in that diner from 1972, you guys? Come on. Think about it. Give it a quick think. Why would he be hanging out in an abandoned, burned down diner since 1974 to tell her, hey, he left before midnight, but he blew up the place when he went outside. It's a gas leak. The people outside in the parking lot aren't spared when a building explodes. The whole place went up at midnight, y'all. Like, the whole place. Sorry, you guys. They're all ghosts except me. Like, yeah, they're all ghosts except me. Good night, Ness. And maybe Earl's the Terminator, yeah. I will see you guys tomorrow morning, 11 or 12 Eastern Standard Time. And we'll be going on an outdoor adventure. CJ said Devin is wrong about her own story. I love you guys so much. I hope you guys get some wonderful sleep. And if you can't fall asleep, head on over to my YT channel. Check out the Bedtime Stories playlist, and you'll probably be asleep by the second story. And I love you guys so much. I'll see you guys in the morning for Witchy Wednesday. And don't forget, stay spooky.